Good morning, everyone. So today is a Monday, the 6th of April 2026. So good morning, everyone. Again, we have been contemplating on the virtues of the Buddha Dhamma Sangha, and now, as a Buddhist, to be a good Buddhist, we have to practice or understand the real meaning of the Buddha Dhamma Sangha and the benefit of reverencing these Buddha Dhamma Sangha. Further on, since last night, started another chapter on virtues of good Buddhists. Obviously, a good Buddhist should pay respect to the Buddha Dhamma Sangha as the main object. That is like a spiritual practice. And last night, I was talking about the virtues of a Buddhist and two types of a Buddhist and what they should practice. Now, in terms of living a life, a Buddhist life is apparently seems to be a bit hard, but when we look at in a general term, it is not that hard as long as we are practicing sila. And when we are practicing sila properly, the precepts, not to kill, not to steal, not to adultery, and not speaking lies, and not taking substance that cloud the mind, that is good enough. And that is good enough. In the meantime, when we practice in such a way, there are other factors that we want to be living with, which is also known as the samma kammanta, avoiding committing certain actions. So these certain actions will be avoided in our day-to-day life. So that's why a true followers who have taken the path that I will practice the Dhamma in accordance with the Buddha's teachings, that they will, after they have practiced the 5 precepts, and they will avoid trading in their business, like arms dealing or weapons, any materials that's mass murder could be take place. So this is again in line with the first precepts of not killing. So this is sorry, not samma kammanta. This is samma ajiva, means livelihood. So our living standard will be different, and we will be not earning things or occupations that will not deal with any sort of a trading in arms and weapons. Further on, we also, as a Buddhist, we also will not engage in any human trafficking or a slave trade. There are stories, quite a lot, about human trafficking. Even nowadays, is still there. Human trafficking in everywhere, in every country, even in Thailand, even in I believe in Sri Lanka as well, in Myanmar, Laos, Cambodia, America, UK, everywhere. This trafficking is going on. And the difference is, in the past, it was illegal, and now legally trafficking. And slave trade. Now, slave trade also very famous, particularly in the dark society. Like females are forced to be prostitute or forced to do the jobs, and they don't have any rights. which is still a big issue, hard to deal with. So that's why this sort of a living or earning by such a way also not a way of a Buddhists. But having said that, we have to remember there are two types of Buddhists again. One is truly understood the Buddha's teachings and became at least of a Sotapanna. Then they are the true Buddhists. And another are the birth Buddhists or birthrights, born in the Buddhist family or have taken the path on a Buddha's path and then become a Buddhist in later their life. But they haven't understood or they haven't taken seriously the Buddha's teachings, and as a result some of these activities still carried on due to various reasons. But if we are really sure and taking on board the Buddha's teachings and practices and to be a good Buddhists, then we will try our best to avoid these tradings as much as possible. And then number three, that Buddhists will not engage in any sort of trading in a flesh of any animals and fish and so on. And this is again in line with the first precepts. I think one of the Wednesday evenings I did mention that in Nepal there is one particular a caste, a group of people in the Newar community, which again about 700 years ago, 600 or 700 years ago, the king of Nepal divided people based on their profession, which later becomes the caste and segregation and boundaries. So then there is even now is this caste who engage in killing and selling meat. And among that group, some of them have come across with the Buddhism, and after studying the Buddhism, they have given up these professions and moved on to do something else. And from my own observation, I feel like I know many of them, and their lifestyle is much happier and more nobly living than previously. Previously, their status were doesn't matter how much wealth they earn, but mostly like miserable. But after they have changed, their lifestyle is completely different. And this is I know because my godmother, so-called godmother, when the day when I was born, and like a christening, similar to the christening in Nepal in Hinduism, I was given to this mother who is from this caste, and she always kills the buffalo and goats and sells. And I was very close to her. I often visited her, and I could see the miseries, and I could see the smells in a house, and the very unwelcoming feelings always there. And with that, I had a connection with other family members from this caste, and I normally used to visit. And my own godmother, she did not change, and she continued until her last breath on that occupation. But other families that I have known, they have changed. Like when I was going to temple, monastery, studying the Dhamma, at that time there was one lady. She was also well known for her change to Buddhism and spread the Buddha Dhamma to young children. She's still alive. Um, she's also from the same caste, and her father and her grandfathers were butchers, so they kill and sell, and they earn quite a bit of money. They are wealthy. But the families, according to her own story, she was saying that always quarrel, always fighting going on. And then later, when she came across with the Buddhism and studied the Buddhism, and she encouraged whole family to stop this butchery occupation. And after that, she mentioned that her family becomes much more calmer and more harmonious. I met her many times, and I was in her class in my village. And after I became a monk, whenever I go back to Nepal, I normally visit her. And before, I think she's still alive. I haven't seen her. Last visit I didn't visit, so I don't know. I think she's still alive. But what I have known that the house and the land that she offered to build a temple. So in her will, she offered a house and a land to build a temple, and now her house and her land is converted to the temple. This temple, one monk is living, and he's promoting Buddhism from there. So like that. So she changed, and with that change, she also encouraged her whole family to change, and she also encouraged her nephew to be a monk. And he was a monk for some times, and he was a junior than me, and her wish was to build a temple for him in her house and the land. But later he disrobed and set up a family. Like that. So that's why this trading of flesh animals or meat or butchery work also in a way should not be done. And then the fourth one is the hard one, particularly those who are running the restaurants. So that's the trading in liquors and alcohol and drinks and drugs. And these are actually harmful, yet it brings more revenue to home. So that's why they look at the revenue than any effects or karmic effect they will be responsible for. And this is again a very hard topic to speak about. We Buddhists, we know that 5 precepts. The last one is not to take the drugs and alcohols that clouds, or substance that clouds the mind, and even in the living or livelihood also instructed to avoid. But whenever we have a party, if there is no alcohol, then this doesn't feel like a party. So this is a hard one, and we cannot say that you should not. It's like not like in other religions that it's completely forbidden or you will be punished. In Buddhism, it's just like a training. So if you practice, good karma will come, or if you don't, then bad karma will come. That's it. And you will be the responsible one. So as a result, drinking alcohol is, although says that you should not, but it's a training. That's why it's a more or less, it's like a mindful drinking is the best way. And rather than drinking to be drunk, just drinking to be partying. or just a social drink would be best. And that's again because of that drinking involves revenue, comes, and which encourage to have tradings, whereas a true Buddhist will not do any sorts of such tradings. And then the last one is the trading of poisons, or poison, or any substance that could kill other beings. And this is again, if possible, to avoid. So that's why this is known as the right livelihood, one of the eight Four Noble Paths, and that these are the five things should be avoided, and should not be traded in. And this, if someone does so, then known as the Micha Ajiva, or the wrong livelihood. And more importantly, one should avoid giving or receiving like a bribery or unlawful presents and so on. And this is again like a cheating or lobbying and sort of a thing. So we should not be doing so, and should be pure sila. And this is in terms of that, I used to think that as a monk in Thai Airways, you're allowed to have, you could bring, not allowed, you could bring more than what is stated, let's say 23 kilos. Then if you're a monk, you could bring maybe about 35 to 40 kilos. The counter service, they generously give it to the monks. And then there was one occasion I was traveling from Wolverhampton to Thailand via Dubai. And while I was checking at the Birmingham airport, I saw this struggling lady because of her extra luggage, and she had to pay quite a sum of it. Then I feel that they have to pay such an amount, and I, as a monk, should not be asking or should not be taking the privilege of taking more than what is allowed. So then ever since, whenever I am taking things, I will take either the amount they provide, or if any excess, I am happy to pay. And that paying really makes me comfortable. So nowadays I travel very light, unless I'm traveling back to Aberdeen, then bringing something to share with other members, our members, or for things for the temple. Then I have a luggage. Otherwise, I try to travel light, simply thinking of this lady who was struggling. And I feel like when I am given such a privilege, I feel like it's not a right living, and it's like a living with a greed. So I gave up such way. Now, according to the Buddha's teaching, we see that wealth and money derived from a physical or verbal unwholesome deed that we have done, then it's like means we are getting things wrongly and living in an evil mode of earning. So this material and money gotten by whether the robbery, lying, slavery, killing, or selling poisons, and it want to give happiness. and want to give much satisfaction and comfortable, so we'll be living in a miseries much of the time. So that's why this is the another principles that one a Buddhist should practice. So I stop here, and with this, let's do the chanting. So may you all be well and happy.